I'm a weirdo. You got me. I try to live a sustainable lifestyle, but by doing so, I do some strange things. Maybe you do too, though. I'm sharing some of the weird and wonderful things that I do when I try to live more sustainably to show you that maybe they're not so weird after all. Hey, I'm Charlie. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things to do with sustainability, from living a realistic lifestyle to DIYs and product reviews. So subscribe if you're into any of that. Without further ado, here are 10 of the weird things that I do when I try to live more sustainably. I make my own laundry detergent. The way I do this is with Marseille soap, an olive oil based soap. And the reason that I use a natural based product rather than buying a supermarket brand is that a lot of those brands are actually harmful to aquatic animals. You'll see on packaging that there's now a little symbol that says that it's harmful to aquatic animals, but they still sell it and people still buy it. And it's kind of scary when it's those big name brands and that water does eventually go out to sea. I will always choose damaged or wonky veg. At the supermarket, I try to avoid any fruit or veg that's in plastic, which I know isn't always possible. But where it is, sometimes those items can be a little bit damaged or can be a bit weird, like a shorter carrot or a courgette that's got marks in it because the skin itself is kind of delicate, so it might be damaged as it's being shipped around. But I always pick those because I know other people probably won't. So you'll actually find me rooting around for the ones that people are probably less likely to buy because I don't want it to go to waste. Food waste is such a massive issue globally, so if I can do my little bit by picking a wonky or damaged bit of fruit, I'm gonna do it. I collect water when I shower. I've talked about this on a previous video, but it's actually such a simple thing for everybody to be doing because water is actually pretty scarce. The way I do this is use a bucket or a pan, whatever I've got, and collect the water when I'm waiting for the water to heat up in the shower. That water can then be used for multiple different things. You can use it to flush the toilet, to water your plants, you can use it to clean your bathroom, all kinds of things, and it's water that you would otherwise be filling up. You're not going to use it to make yourself a cup of tea, but you can use it for all of those other uses. I make my own hair gel from flax seeds. I've got curly hair, you can't see it so much today, but if you've got curly hair, you will understand that to give it any kind of shape, you need to put in a curl cream, a gel, and many of the products that you usually buy come in plastic or they've got preservatives in them and you're never sure exactly what's in it. So I just like to make my own. But again, it can be a bit weird that I'm just doing this little DIY at home and I'm keeping this gel in my fridge so it doesn't go off. But you know, having nice defined curls is well worth it for having a little jar in my fridge. I travel by public transport even if it takes me longer. As an individual, if I'm going somewhere and the best way to get there would be by car, and I say best, but really what I mean is quickest, I don't see that being a huge advantage. I'd actually rather take public transport because while it may take longer, all of that time you've got to yourself to do whatever it is that you want to do. You want to read your latest book that you're reading, you want to do some work, you want to just stare out of the window and think about nothing. You can do that on public transport, but you cannot do that when you're driving. So even if it does take me a bit longer, I will actually prioritize that over other forms of travel. I fix things badly. I mean, if I even fix them at all. But for example, this peg box that I've got, that I've had for a very long time, is just an old box of Converse that I've repurposed into a peg box and it was falling apart. So what did I do? I mended it with paper tape. It's not the best thing that has ever happened, but it still works, so why would I not use it? I know other people would just automatically recycle that and get another one. I mean, it is made out of cardboard after all, but it still works, so until it dies a death, I will use it. And I have multiple examples of that kind of thing around my house because I'm determined not to throw things away until they really need to be thrown away. I put tea bags into trainers to make them smell better. This is a random one that when I tell people, they think that I'm on another planet, because what a strange thing to do. But you know, if you've got stinky trainers, it's one of the best things that you can do is put a tea bag into those trainers and it'll deodorize them. So you don't need to worry about putting any chemicals in, popping them in the washing machine, though of course you can also do that. But just try it with a tea bag overnight and you will be so surprised about how good it smells. I keep veg in my freezer to make veg stock. I don't know how weird this one is, though people have remarked on it before, but I don't need to buy OXO cubes if I'm using veg all the time to make my dinner. And rather than just throwing away onion peels or those ends of broccoli that you don't use, I pop them all into a little bag, put them in my freezer, wait till I've got enough, and then I'll make a veg stock out of those. That veg stock you can then freeze as well to use at a later time. You can separate it into an ice tray so you only use a little bit, like your very own veg stock cube. But it's kind of a no-brainer to me that we can repurpose things like for their whole life before you compost them. You can get all the nutrients that you haven't already used out of them and just make your own thing without spending any extra money. And I kind of think it's a normal and fun thing to do. So I make cloths out of old t-shirts. What do you do when your t-shirt has got a hole in it, you've repaired it multiple times, and then it really is on its last legs? You can't give it away to charity because nobody's going to buy that. It's not worth that charity shop even putting it on the shelf. It would go straight to either fabric waste or landfill. Ideally, it would be going to be made into dog beds or something like that, or even for mattresses, but that doesn't always happen. So if I know that I can recycle it myself, that's what I'm going to do. It's so easy to make cleaning cloths out of old t-shirts. You just chop them up into whichever way and you can use them all around the house. So you don't need to be buying new cleaning things. You can just use those and wash them just as you would be washing your ordinary clothes. And finally, I soak banana peels to make plant fertiliser. I fairly recently got into having plants and gardening, and it's insane how many nutrients you can get from plant fertiliser. So you don't need to be buying Tomorrowlight or any of those other little plant fertilizers that you can get. You can just use things that you already have at home. They're full of potassium, calcium, magnesium, all things that your plants need to grow. And it's just in something that you are literally gonna compost or throw out. So yes, I might have random bowls of banana peels lying around, but that's okay. Those are just some of the strange habits that I've picked up when trying to live more sustainably. They might be odd, but they've become my new normal. What is weird anyway? We can make anything a habit. What weird and wonderful sustainable actions do you do? Let's chat in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you might fancy taking a look at my video on eco actions that you probably already do, because we all need a little boost that we're doing the right thing from time to time. I bet you'll realise that you're more susty than you think. Until next time.